Another day of Chinese fake stuff. At least they decent enough to give extra fake milk.
这牛马，这是什么东西啊？
How do you pronounce it?
没问题啊。
CLNFAP?
金肠。
You know, at least the guy got a real crab and a real chain. So this is an absolute win for him. Can't believe Ricardo Milos owns a banana juice franchise in China. What a talented guy.
我总觉得这个香蕉汁看起来怪怪的呀，这是什么意思啊？真的很好喝。
In the sprawling economic landscape of China, the counterfeit market has burgeoned into an entity of significant proportions, posing complex challenges not just internationally, but crucially, within its own borders. This phenomenon deeply impacts local industries, consumer trust, and the overall integrity of the Chinese market. Brand owners in China have lamented that between 15 to 20% of all renowned brands within the nation are counterfeit, leading to financial losses in the tens of billions annually. This counterfeit market accounts for approximately 8% of China's GDP, a testament to its vast scale and penetration into the economy. Nothing top Chinese knockoff. China's endless knockoff brands of KFC. Sometimes, Chinese phones can be used as smoke grenades. China try their hardest not to get sued by the original brand. For ordinary Chinese consumers, the ubiquitous presence of counterfeit products is a double-edged sword. On one hand, these items offer access to goods, especially luxury items, at a fraction of the price, making the allure of a higher social status more attainable. On the other hand, this comes with significant risks. Counterfeit electronics, automotive parts, and pharmaceuticals, which do not adhere to safety standards, put consumers at risk of accidents and health issues, underlining the pernicious effects of counterfeit markets. A man's mobile phone suddenly exploded while working at height and fell directly from above. The battery is all burned up. Luckily, he survived. A fake Samsung mobile phone charger exploded at the bedside. A 4-year-old girl suffered burns to her face and hands from the exploding battery. Furthermore, the evolution of China into the world's factory has inadvertently facilitated the rise of its counterfeit industry. Economic reforms initiated in the late 20th century aimed at opening up the economy attracted foreign direct investment, leading to rapid industrialization and improved living standards. However, this transformation also birthed an environment where counterfeiting could thrive. Factories capable of producing high-quality goods for global brands could easily pivot to producing nearly identical counterfeit items, thus blurring the lines between genuine and fake, and overwhelming regulatory efforts. This Chinese calculator is so bad it can even know what 1 plus 1 is. The most real thing in this situation is the brick. The expansive and loosely regulated supplier networks within China serve as fertile ground for counterfeiters, despite existing mechanisms to combat this challenge, such as the State Intellectual Property Office and national anti-counterfeit regulations. However, the sheer scale of the Chinese counterfeit market and its intricate supply chain complexities have rendered enforcement efforts variably effective, making it a persistent issue. When asked which country produces the most counterfeit and inferior goods, people unequivocally point to China. Some use the metaphor that finding genuine products in China is more challenging than winning a $5 million jackpot, while in developed countries like the United States, stumbling upon counterfeit goods is akin to hitting a $5 million jackpot. Although this statement may sound humorous, it accurately reflects the pervasive presence of counterfeit and inferior goods in China. Why is this problem so rampant and persistent? Apart from the inadequate supervision by relevant regulatory authorities, the primary reason is the insufficient crackdown, especially due to the low cost of illegal activities. Catching counterfeiters typically results in minimal penalties, merely a slap on the wrist. To recover from supposed losses, counterfeiters continue their illicit activities, fueling a vicious cycle that not only goes unchecked but intensifies over time. Perhaps it's worthwhile to learn from developed countries. In the Japanese business community, if an individual engages in counterfeiting and is discovered, not only will the wrongdoer be held accountable, but the repercussions may also extend to their descendants, severely impacting their lives. The offender may be barred from engaging in business for 3 generations, facing strict limitations in other aspects, such as education and employment. The high cost of breaking the law discourages counterfeiters, making them think twice. These effective practices are genuinely worth considering. Chinese counterfeit products dominate not just global markets but have a massive footprint domestically. Approximately 75% of counterfeit and pirated goods seized by U.S. Customs and Border Protection in 2021 were traced back to China and Hong Kong, pointing towards a deeply ingrained culture of counterfeiting within the country. On the streets and in the subways, it's a common sight to see individuals flaunting what seem to be high-end fashion brands, many of which are, in fact, counterfeits. In recent days, after months of continuous efforts by the police in Guangdong and Guangxi provinces, a major counterfeit Apple Bluetooth earphone production case has been successfully cracked, with the involved amount reaching an astonishing 1.67 billion yuan. Fortunately, only a small number of suspicious individuals were arrested in this operation, and all seized materials have been recovered. It is noteworthy that this case originated from the routine supervision by the authorities on counterfeit goods in the market. After a prolonged investigation, the police discovered several criminal groups operating in Xi'an, Guilin, Hezhou, and other areas in Guangdong and Guangxi, establishing multiple factories for producing counterfeit products. These fake earphones not only exhibit low performance and questionable quality but may also have irreversible effects on hearing with prolonged use. What is even more shocking is that these counterfeit products infringed upon the intellectual property rights of Apple Incorporated, severely compromising the legitimate rights and interests of a wide range of consumers. In response, the police have expressed their commitment to intensifying law enforcement efforts to fully safeguard the legal rights of consumers. For Chinese consumers, the counterfeit market serves as a double-edged sword. On one hand, it allows access to items that symbolize higher social status or luxury at a fraction of the original price, catering to the aspirational desires of many. On the other hand, the quality and safety of these counterfeit goods are highly questionable. Substandard materials, improper manufacturing processes, and the absence of quality control in counterfeit products pose significant risks to consumer safety and health. This is what fake beef in hot pot restaurants in China looks like. Pour a spoonful of green unidentified liquid into water, and instantly, it transforms into a Chinese cabbage. The leaves, when gently folded together, create a lifelike cabbage, and the production cost is extremely low. Could it be that even cabbages can be fake? Yes. Next, let's take a look at the process of making fake cabbages. In the video, this elderly gentleman is 71 years old and has been making fake food for 53 years. The various unidentified liquids on the table are the raw materials for his fake food production. Now he is going to use technology to mix the original solution to create the white part inside the cabbage, then mix the tender yellow and green-white materials to complete the preparation. First, pour a spoonful of white solution into water, then, pour another spoonful of yellow solution onto the white part, and finally add a spoonful of green solution. Spread it with your hands, take it out, and fold and knead it to shape. The central part of the cabbage is now done. Next, pour the green solution to create the outer leaves. Following the previous steps, wrap layer by layer to achieve the desired size. This way, a fake cabbage is completed. The finished fake cabbage can be cut to look convincingly real. Also, the rampant production and consumption of counterfeits within China have profound implications for local and international businesses. Brands face dilution of their trademark, loss of sales, and the expensive battle of protecting their intellectual property rights. The economy, while seemingly buoyed by the activities within the counterfeit market, suffers from the undercurrents of undermined innovation and skewed market competition. The counterfeit market, accounting for an estimated 8% of China's GDP, represents not just lost revenue for genuine brands but a distortion of economic development and a challenge to the country's global competitiveness. Be careful buying Chinese laptops or this might happen. Or a Chinese washing machine, it will explode when the time is the most non-convenient. Why does this sweeping robot need to be plugged in? It looks like a giant cockroach. Compounding the crisis of trust is the observable descent into moral degradation, a condition partly cultivated by the CCP's tacit acceptance and insufficient regulation of counterfeit practices. This moral slump is reflective of a society where ethics have been supplanted by a relentless pursuit of profit, irrespective of the means. The normalization of deceit in pursuit of economic gain has not only tainted the nation's international reputation but also corrupted the ethical compass of its citizens, with the CCP's governance approach doing little to stem the tide of this moral crisis. In Guangzhou, Guangdong, the induction cooker caught fire and exploded shortly after being plugged in. The bystanders got up and ran away in fright. A home surveillance video recorded a vacuum cleaner that was being charged in the bedroom suddenly caught fire and exploded. The Chinese government, in response to international pressure and the internal ramifications of counterfeiting, has implemented measures and enacted laws aimed at curbing this pervasive issue. However, the effectiveness of these actions is often questioned, given the nature of the CCP. Through a combination of inadequate regulation, selective enforcement, faking data, and a general ambivalence towards ethical governance, the party has facilitated an environment where counterfeit practices thrive unimpeded. The resultant social and moral ramifications are stark, with the erosion of trust and ethical values posing insidious threats to the societal cohesion and integrity of the nation. Many say that the National Bureau of Statistics is unreliable and that statistical data is fabricated. The issue of statistical manipulation is not surprising at all, as the people have long been skeptical of statistical data. When it comes to personal income, individual capabilities, and rising prices, the perception of the common people is crystal clear. The key lies in addressing the genuine feelings of the common people. Statistical data should not serve the purpose of boosting someone's career or performance assessment. Such a focus not only neglects national interests but also erodes public trust. The goal should be to present the true state of the socio-economic situation to the people. Simultaneously, rigorous measures should be taken against those who engage in fraudulent activities, aiming to restore the public's trust in statistical data. The counterfeit culture in China, underpinned by a search for profit at the expense of ethical standards and safety, has significant social implications. Trust, once eroded, is challenging to rebuild, and the moral degradation facilitated by such practices poses severe challenges not just to individuals but to the fabric of society itself. The role of the Chinese Communist Party in governing, regulating, and potentially rectifying this situation is central. As China continues to evolve on the global stage, the resolution of these issues becomes increasingly critical, not just for the well-being of its citizens but also for its international relations and reputation. The path forward requires a comprehensive strategy that encompasses stringent regulation, robust enforcement, and a concerted effort to foster a culture of integrity and trust.